Are you going to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
How awesome is that? Have you been before?
I've been once before.
Which one?
Miami. So it was
Okay.
just before COVID, like 2020. And
Glad you didn't hit us with a Roman numeral because I wouldn't know which one was which.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't know Roman numerals.
I don't know why they do that either.
It's whatever. Anyway, I'm excited because I've never really spent any time in Phoenix as well, Arizona. So like that's kind of cool and something different. I love the desert, so I'm sure it's warmer than here. But I'm a bit sad that the Bills aren't in. So
How'd you become a Bills fan?
I met Josh Allen. So
No,
that
that was
was I was like, man, you're beautiful. Yeah. And he's like, I'm not afraid to admit it. He's my man crush. But he's also a friend now, which is really cool. And yeah, and also I like watch the 30 for 30, the Four Falls of Buffalo, which is, if you're not a fan, like watching that, like you just have to, how can you not? So kind of getting behind a team like that and with such like a story and the whole, I don't know. They're like, yeah, the coolest underdogs I've ever come across.
Keyword is underdogs because now you're in it. You're involved in the misery that comes with being a Bills fan. Are you okay with that?
I'm good with it.
Okay, you're in for the
this
ride?
This is when they need us most.
That's
so.
very true.
Bills Mafia. Is there a table you can throw me through?
Did you have much chance to talk to Josh after that match? Like, do you talk to him that often? And like, when you talk to another athlete from another sport, you know what, the fine line between winning and losing. I guess you can kind of empathize a bit differently than say I could if I spoke to you or to Josh Allen. Yeah,
that's where you, like, I'm always cautious with, because I feel I can understand an athlete, because no matter what the sport is, you go through the highs, the lows. Like there is definitely a lot of relation, but obviously each individual's different. So you want to try and kind of lend support, and because you can relate, but you also want to kind of be respectful of their space. But I did reach out to Josh, and he responded, so it was received. And it was just, it's tough because like everyone will always, even with me, like I'll get a gazillion messages after I win a race, but after a bad race, I might get one message. So it's kind of those ones that are more important, and they're the ones where you need your mates to pick you up or to tell you that everything's going to be okay. So he's a big teddy bear, and
he's awesome.
I want to cuddle him right now talking about it.
Well, actually, Nate, I think, needs to be cuddled, right? Because you're a Tampa fan?
Buccaneers fan, yeah. So
did you shed a few tears when you saw the video come out?
Twice in a year when Brady quit, this time for good.
This one nearly hit more or harder. I don't know.
It was funny because a lot of websites. Do you see some websites that just reprinted, but they changed like the dates and the details?
Oh.
They're like, he's been around, and they'd crossed out 21 and put 22 in or whatever it was. But it was weird, wasn't it? Because everyone thought, oh, he's back now and he's going to play for a bit. So, yeah. What's your thoughts on Brady? The GOAT? Do you think
Yeah.
Hard to deny.
Yeah, hard to deny. And watching. So look, transparently, I've only got into the NFL like in the last few years, so I haven't been like a lifelong fan or supporter, but I have really got into it more and more. But yeah, just kind of watching the video, I mean, I again, being a fan now, like I watch as many games as I can, even if it's not the Bills. I just love the sport. So watching some games as well this year, you kind of got the feeling like it was probably going to happen with Brady. But yeah, it's hard because you pour your life into it, and walking away from something that you've had so much success in as well, and it's dictated probably all of your life, if not the majority. It's like it was sad, like it's happy sad, but it's still sad. So but I think look, from the outside it looks like it's the right time, and he can be a family man and find what's next.
You once received a throw from, I don't know if that's, I don't know anything about NFL, so you once received a throw from Tom Brady, but you did it in the coolest place pretty much in the world to do it, in Monaco, from one yacht to another. Am I right in saying that?
So
we actually ran that clip, didn't we, just after? That was the clip ESPN ran.
Yeah. It was pretty wild.
First take? Only take?
Yeah. So a lot of people, the catch was first take, But I saw a few people reference like the ball. So I think they cut to two different shots because he threw, I think 3 in total. So I guess the best shot that they got of him throwing was with another ball. So it had like, I think maybe black stripes or white stripes. And the one I caught had like black stripes or something. So a few people were like, oh, this has been edited or he didn't really catch it or something. But it was basically, they must have taken his like second throw, but then my first catch. But it all happened just the way it was clipped. But
so you're better than Brady though, because you got it right on the first one. And
no. Well, he did as well. They just like
it's amazing.
But his second throw looked better.
It's amazing nowadays online. Like an innocent clip can go up, and within 10 minutes, people are like, "Well, this is 3 clips put together." I'm like, "What are you guys doing at home?" Like, it's crazy.
It's funny, but no, because I think maybe it got reposted again the other day, and then so like I guess more people were calling it out, but no, it did happen, and. I knew very well who Tom Brady was, and that was the day I got pole. So I was like on a bit of a high, but then I was receiving this catch from Tom, so I was quietly like crapping myself, and anyway, it was fun. It's very cool.
So if you were to play in the NFL,
wide receiver.
Okay.
Yeah, wide receiver.
That's kind of the glory position, isn't it? Like,
let me run.
Yeah.
Let me run, let me move. Just even like when I was younger, I played soccer and I wasn't very good. But I had the gas tank where it's just like, just send a long ball down the line and I'll run and I'll get it. So I feel like that's me. And I back myself catching. I'm not great at throwing, but yeah, catching or receiving, that's me.
Why did you become a fan of the NFL?
Well, I love sport. So there's literally over Christmas, I remember one of my cousins came up, like we're chatting and catching up, and we must have been talking about sports, and I think they said like, oh, I remember when you were young, we walked in on you watching lawn bowls. So like lawn bowls? Do you know what lawn bowls is?
Yeah.
Is that a breakdown?
It's like
in America and
like
bocce ball. Oh, okay.
I guess what I'm trying to get at is I would watch
Bocce
anything.
Ball, actually. Just so bocce is
that
how
boy
we say it
became
in
a former
America, but bocce is how you say it in Italy.
Yeah.
But you call it long ball?
Lawn bowls.
Lawn bowls.
It's kind of, I guess anyway, it's not the most exciting sport in the world.
Fair.
But I would watch, I would watch anything. And then I always obviously knew what the NFL was, but I'd never kind of given myself the time to like get into it, understand the game. And as soon as I like went to see a game, understood it, I was like, oh my gosh, it's quickly becoming my favorite sport. Yeah.
Do you have a pick for the Super Bowl?
Eagles.
Is that just because of what happened to Josh?
Well, from the start of the season, I remember watching a few of the Eagles games because I was in Australia for the most part, and we could the time zone was good, so I got a lot of the games to watch, and I just felt like their defense was
so good,
pretty awesome, and I was just like, these guys are going to be hard to beat, and now they got to Super Bowl, so I'm like, they got this far. I think they're going to do it. What do you guys reckon?
So I was in Philadelphia on Sunday. I took some time in America here, so I've got to say Philly. I was out on the streets dancing, having a beer on the streets. I mean, legally, in a bar.
What did you think of Philadelphia after a win? Because
Philadelphia was wild. I'm glad I wasn't there after they'd lost the game because I feel like
I've heard
because they would have burned the city to the ground.
I think either way they knew that things were going to get smashed. It's whether they were getting like trounced, like they were going to destroy things lovingly or like just out of pure frustration. But yeah, it was a cool city. Have you been to Philly?
No, I haven't.
Philly's cool. You should check it out.
The only place in America where they're going to grease light poles so people won't climb them after a game.
So, but wait, is this in a like really supportive, loving way, or is it? Do we want them to win or do we not want them to win?
I mean, I'm kind of conflicted now I've been there, but for the sake of the city, which is beautiful, I kind of want Philly.
Preserve Philadelphia,
I
right?
want Philly to, and Kansas have won it recently, right? So, or more recently anyway.
2020, I believe.
Yeah. Well, that would have been the one you saw, right?
Yes,
that was,
Miami,
that was
exactly.
The one, yes.
Yeah, against 49ers.
So purely on that fact, I'm going to say the Eagles, I think. But it's going to be tight.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no place like Philly. So
okay,
maybe,
I need to get there.
Maybe put it on your list. Maybe. Obviously, we're in New York. You were in Miami last year for the first one. We've got Vegas. I know how much you love Austin. When you got into the sport, did you ever envision it taking off like this in the States?
not at the rate that it has.
Okay.
I felt like it was a matter of time or inevitable because
Why?
it's America, and America loves sports. They do sports so well, and Formula One is such a unique sport that is massive in other parts of the world. So I kind of felt like it was a matter of time till it got here and kind of got recognized and appreciated, I guess. But I mean, we went to Austin 2012, I think was the first year, and I knew nothing about Austin. Like I was like, I think this is where Lance Armstrong's from. But going there, I was just like, this is awesome. And the fans were so new and excited. And so it was already that year. I was like, okay, this could really happen. But yeah, I didn't think we'd have 3 in 10 years.
Do you see a difference in the American fan as compared to what you see across the world?
There's
like, how would you describe the American fan?
Well, I would describe them similar to the Aussies, where they're like quiet, like loud and outgoing, and it's like, you know, yell your name out from afar and kind of just say something funny or witty, or like, let's go grab a beer, or just, you know, like they're bros. I don't know. So they're pretty easygoing. But then you get to like Italy, for example, which is very like full on, like they're very more like kind of grabby. They're more like affectionate, if that makes sense.
Good word for it.
They need to touch, like, you know, so
they're in your bubble.
Yeah, so they're like, so they might be seen as like more intense, but they're like, I think it's just passion. And then Japan, actually I was talking about this last night. Japan is wild because you've got like kind of 2 extremes. You've got the most polite fans in the world. We're like super respectful, like they'll make a line and wait and whatever, but then they also probably know the most about you. Like they're like the most intense yet the most polite. I don't know how to describe it.
And the effort they put in as well. Like the costumes, it's all homemade, and it's just like stunningly beautiful kimonos, things like that.
Yeah.
Around teams, it's pretty special.
Yeah, they're like, they deserve the little, because the effort that goes in is, I mean, even like mechanics, like members of the team that like wouldn't normally have fans, you know, like they're making things for them, and it's like even like the drivers, like our trainers or our freaking managers or whatever, like they're treated like royalty.
Some of the press officers even have like a fan club, and it's like, this is crazy. Like they'll be walking down and they'll get like, you know, a thing like, can you sign this? I'm like, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
You know, their drivers next to them like, what? What's going on?
And they'll get them to sign a photo of like them in their house 6 years ago. It's like, wait, how do you have this photo of me in my house? That's funny.
But because they're so polite, you're like, oh, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's not.
That's not weird.
That's
cool.
hilarious.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content plus live streaming, make sure to subscribe to ESPN Player.